I'm Andrew McClung in Fentress County, where leaders here decided on the new top law enforcement officer in the county. We'll share with you who they selected coming up.
We also take you to a heritage center in Cocke County looking to regain museum status, how they are moving toward that goal after recovering from the devastation in Hurricane Helene.
All right, coming up, we've got mild temperatures over the next couple of days, a warming trend. We'll talk more about our chances for rain as we go the rest of this week, coming up next.
Ten News is sponsored by Quality Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Good evening. Thank you for watching 10 News at 11. I'm John Becker. We begin with a high fire danger across East Tennessee. This is the latest fire map. You can see some fires burning across East Tennessee in Campbell County. One fire along Tennessee 297 burning more than 30 acres. Fortunately, it is 90% contained. We move to Claiborne County there along Snake Hollow Road. A fire there has burned more than 100 acres. It is 95% contained, and we have seen fires pop up throughout the day. We're desperate for rain, and one of the things driving the concern today was those high winds. Chief Meteorologist Todd Howell joining us with more on those gusts. Todd, fortunately, the wind is down at this hour.
Yeah, absolutely, John. Wind and humidity levels, those are two of the primary factors you look at as far as weather elements that increase or decrease the fire danger across the region. When you have high winds and low humidity, yeah, that obviously creates higher fire danger, and those fuels that are on the ground get dried out and they become more flammable and certainly more combustible. So that's why it's a higher fire danger. So when we have high winds and low humidity, and basically they basically outlined that today, no outdoor burning, just too dangerous right now. Got to see moisture levels increase and winds lessen before we can get back to normal. So here's what we're seeing right now. We still have a steady breeze, generally about 5 to 15 miles per hour. It's going to pretty much stay there most of tonight before gradually relaxing. Tomorrow we'll have less wind. Now, I said humidity, that's moisture in the atmosphere. One of the best ways to measure the amount of moisture in the atmosphere is the dew point temperature. It's just better than humidity because humidity is relative. You've heard that term, relative humidity to the temperature, right? Dew point's not. It's more of an absolute measure. So basically, you can look at that number and it tells you a lot. Dew points in the 20s, that's pretty dry. Yeah, we got temperatures in the 50s, that's pretty dry air. So we saw that today with those gusty winds. Need those dew points to come up, humidity to rise. 52 right now, winds are north-northeast at 13, still gusting to 26. So still those breezy winds at this hour. Let's get right to your Tuesday. Less wind, cool start 39. Morning clouds will give way to abundant sunshine. Pretty nice day. Average temperatures, again, less wind overall, and we're looking at a high in the low to mid 60s. John, we'll talk about those rain chances over the next 7 days coming up.
Todd, thank you. Back to your headlines tonight. A former Oak Ridge police officer pleaded guilty to 23 counts of official misconduct today. He will avoid significant jail time. A grand jury indicting Zachary Gaithier after he was accused of using police resources, including a license plate reader, for his personal use. Prosecutors say he will have to serve 48 hours in jail and then is set to spend the rest of his sentence on supervised probation. A mental health evaluation is also required, and he must stay away from his victims and give up his police certification. If he follows all of the rules, he could avoid a felony conviction on his record. Tennessee Highway Patrol confirming with us the details of a crash involving a Claiborne County detective. Saturday morning, a report shows James Venable rear-ended a vehicle stopped at a red light. The crash happened on Highway 25E at the intersection of Highway 63 and Harrogate. Troopers helped out and then charged and arrested Venable with multiple charges, including DUI and open container. The 35-year-old was in his personal car. The Claiborne County Sheriff's Office says they placed the deputy on leave during the internal investigation. For the second time in 10 years, the arrest of a sheriff triggered commissioners in Fentress County to pick a new one. Sheriff Michael Bigfoot Reagan resigned back in December. It followed a state investigation focused on destruction and tampering with government records. TBI agents found Sheriff Reagan instructed a detective to complete mandatory online state training courses for him. The training course runs through the group enforcing state standards for law enforcement officers across Tennessee. Back in late November, both lawmen faced charges in that case. A prior sheriff also faced criminal charges. Back in 2017, Sheriff Chucky Cravens was sentenced to almost 3 years in prison. Federal authorities say the law enforcement officer admitted using his position to solicit sex from 3 inmates. Tonight, 10 News reporter Andrew McClung takes us to the vote for a new sheriff, and we hear from him.
There is a new sheriff in Fentress County, and it's a familiar name. Chief Deputy Hunter Fowler was appointed by the commission in an 8-2 vote to serve as sheriff. It's a decision leaders say is pivotal to shaping the future of the county.
Honestly, that's more support than I ever felt like I deserved. I'm just honored that, they all voted for me. It means more than I guess anybody can imagine right now.
Fowler beat out 2 other law enforcement officers for the job, Rodney Insco and Gary Ledbetter. All 3 are running for sheriff in the upcoming elections. Commissioner Kim Davidson says this decision centered on stability in the short term, while voters will decide soon who they want for sheriff in the long term.
It's not good to bring a new coach in at tournament time. It's like I don't even know if it's good for the coach. They're going to get blamed whether if they lose. So let's keep Hunter in there, keep the people we've got in there, and let's get through and let the public, let the people vote in August.
This is it's a major honor to be able to be chosen for this position in the county. So I've grew up here my entire life, and we've had our share of law enforcement issues, and I'm super excited about making it a positive change.
Fowler will be sworn in as sheriff on Tuesday, and he will hold that position in office through August 31st. But if elected, you can add another 4 years to that. Reporting in Fentress County, I'm Andrew McClung.
In May, there are 2 Republicans on the ballot for Fentress County Sheriff. Again, they are Gary Goose Ledbetter and Rodney Insco. Their images there are from their campaign Facebook pages. The winner of the primary will face Fowler, who is running as an independent in the general election. Here are some key deadlines to know before the Knox County election. Before that primary, you can still request an absentee ballot. April 6th marks the final day to register to vote. Early voting starts April 15th and does end April 30th. Election day is Tuesday, May 5th. Commissioners in Knox County moved to postpone a vote on phasing out the wheel tax. The concern centers on how the cut of almost $15 million a year to the county budget could impact key services. The $36 wheel tax dates back to 2003. Commissioner Larson J. joined the Knox County mayor in pushing to phase it out by the year 2028.
It reads so very plainly in our code that we are taxing people for the privilege of using the roads and highways that they have already paid for. And I don't think we should double tax anybody for anything. I also think that there were previous promises that this would help fund, including the wheel tax, or including the new downtown library, which is never delivered.
The plan calls for a $4 cut to start drawing the wheel tax to $32. The next year, it would drop to $16 in 2027 before going away. Skeptics of phasing out the tax worry in a tight budget year how it will impact both road and public works projects.
So we've got 2 doors. Either increase the tax somewhere else or we're cutting services. Relying on growth itself. If growth is flat or negative, if gas prices go higher, the economy slows down, and we rely heavily on sales tax to make this up, something's getting done.
Commissioners moved to delay the key vote on the plan until August. Supporters of the move say it will give them a couple of more months to figure out in the current budget how to absorb the loss of tax dollars. A new WBIR survey is giving us a snapshot of how people in East Tennessee feel about the war in Iran. Early results show strong opposition. We put out those surveys on a variety of topics like school vouchers, hemp regulation, bad roads. Typically, we get a few hundred responses. More than 1,400 people responded to the survey this time. It's about 12 questions. 72% of you strongly oppose the U.S. taking military action against Iran. We spoke to a local policy expert who tells us President Donald Trump will have to make it clear what constitutes a win for this nation in a conflict that's now in its 4th week. Concerns also come when it comes to the impact here at home. 3 out of 4 people who responded say they're very worried the war will impact their daily lives. 90% saying they've already noticed higher costs, including gas and groceries.
On the financial impact, it was almost immediate. It took like maybe less than 72 hours after the first attacks on the 28th of February before gas prices went up.
Beyond the cost, many of you are worried about sending in ground troops and what comes next in that conflict. And our survey is active right now. You can share your thoughts. Just scan that QR code. It will take you directly to the survey. Again, a dozen questions, takes just a few minutes to fill out. A heritage center in Cobb County is taking steps to regain museum status. That building in the Del Rio area was damaged during historic flooding, but grants are helping rebuild the center, moving it closer to a goal by organizers. And 10 News reporter Lauren Lovett joins us with a progress report and the next step toward achieving museum status. Lauren?
John, the center suffered plenty of damage during the flood, including to some of the items kept there. Luckily, things like pictures and documents were safe. Hopefully soon the community's memories will once again be on display, and having museum status will only help ensure this history is around for generations to see.
When people pass on, their memories go with them.
Over the years, especially starting COVID, we did lose a lot of people here in Del Rio, a lot of the older people, and the older people are the history.
But plenty of that history is saved.
Oh, here's the original members of the Culture and Preservation Society board.
Thanks to people like Lisa Kipp.
Thank you for coming in.
She runs the Marie Ellison Library and serves as the Society's director.
I believe part of history isn't just the dates and places, it's the people. Knowing their stories, who they were, what they did for the community.
That's why she says having the Heritage Center is vital and why the loss from the flood makes such an impact.
It took us 2 weeks to get in here because this door was swollen shut. Some things had floated and were perfectly fine. Other things were damaged beyond repair. We did lose a lot of the artifacts, especially the stuffed furniture, and some of the other furniture had become delaminated. There's a lot of 40s and 50s furniture. It wasn't the high-end stuff, but it was representative of the community.
The building itself also took a hit, but grants have helped them rebuild and get one step closer to a museum designation.
The long-term goal is, of course, to have a museum and then have regular open days. We're working our way through that. We have to develop policies. I've done museum work before, so I have a fair amount of policy information, but we have to draw up forms like acquisitions, donations, things like that, and of course space use.
She says getting to that point could take 6 months to a year.
Kipp says there are several parts of this process that are going to rely on the community. She says they'll need lots of donations, memberships, and items to put on display. John.
Lauren will continue to follow their work ahead. Thank you. Still to come on 10 News, the latest funding battle in D.C. and the effort to reduce these security lines by moving agents from one part of the government to another. Also, the Tennessee Vols feeling sweet over that win against Virginia. President Donald Trump spent part of the day in Memphis highlighting a recent drop in crime and giving a new task force the credit. 6 months after deploying the National Guard and more federal resources, the White House says overall crime has dropped 43%.
I'm tying Homeland Security into voter identification with picture and proof of citizenship in order to vote. And those two items are the most important thing having to do with Homeland Security. So it should be part of the Homeland Security bill. And I'm requesting that the Republican senators do that immediately. You don't have to take a fast vote. Don't worry about Easter going home. In fact, make this one for Jesus, okay? Make this one for Jesus. That's what I tell them.
Right now, a bill working its way through the state legislature requires more reporting from leaders in West Tennessee. The new law would require the Shelby County District Attorney to submit a report when prosecutors enter a plea deal and report cases where charges are lowered or the case is dismissed. Starting today, agents in a different uniform are helping TSA in airports across the country, and they're trying to tackle those lines. President Donald Trump announcing on social media immigration and customs enforcement agents would greet travelers as they make their way through the airport, replacing some security by TSA. This is a look at some of the lines we've seen across the U.S., including Chicago, Atlanta, and Orlando. Now, funding to the Department of Homeland Security has been cut off for more than a month because of debate in Washington. DHS saying more than 400 TSA officers have quit since the shutdown started. Thousands are calling out and missing paychecks again. Karen Kaifa has the very latest on the funding battle as the wait times continue to climb.
President Donald Trump says it was his idea to send immigration and customs enforcement agents into some of the nation's busiest airports.
ICE was my idea. First person I called was Tom Homan. I said, what do you think? He said, I think it's great.
ICE agents under the direction of Border Czar Tom Homan were deployed to more than a dozen U.S. airports Monday as call-outs and resignations by Transportation Security Administration officers climb amid a stalemate over Homeland Security funding that's left them without pay since mid-February.
I've never seen lines like those before, and those certainly pose security issues for all of those folks involved, and that has to be addressed right away.
Homan said agents would help TSA in areas that don't need their specialized expertise, like screening through X-ray machines.
ICE has a specific, very important mission on its own, and to be taking them off their regular jobs for which they're specifically trained makes very little sense to me.
Travelers have faced unpredictable wait times at busy airports like Chicago's O'Hare.
I decided that I should just make sure that in order to catch my flight, I have to get here at least 3 hours beforehand.
At Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson, passengers were advised to arrive at least 4 hours ahead of departure time Monday.
I know about the news. I knew it would be bad. I came prepared.
And at Houston's Bush Intercontinental, passengers were warned wait times could stretch past 4 hours. Congress is expected to begin a spring recess at the end of this week, potentially leaving the DHS shutdown unresolved until mid-April. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
Let's move back to that 3-day forecast. Here it is, 60s, and then we climb into the 70s. And Todd, let's talk more about that fire danger, because that is a story we started with that's a serious one. Yeah. Those outdoor burn bans in effect for counties. We see this updated daily. Yeah. And as you mentioned, this is spring fire season, and that's why we're seeing it.
It is, and we came out of 2025 into 2026 with a rainfall deficit. We caught up a little bit. You know, we had some rain over this month, but each month been just a little bit behind still for the year. So we have not gotten enough rainfall to kind of put a damper on some of those potential brush fires and that wildfire danger. So, and we're looking ahead to longer range forecast. What are the prospects for rain? We know it's dry now, but you know, a lot of times you like for it to be balanced, right? We all love the beautiful sunshine, the pleasant temperatures, obviously, of course, right? Check that box, but we need it balanced. We need the rain to help make things grow and pretty, and also to keep things moist and to lower that wildfire risk in the springtime. So we simply haven't had enough rain to lower that risk. It's that simple. So here's our next 3 days. We're looking at somewhat cooler temperatures compared to this past weekend. We saw that today. 61 was our daytime high temperature reading today. 64 tomorrow, 67 on Wednesday, and then 76 temperature spiking up in a breezy afternoon. So it's the wind, and in addition to the low humidity, it's the wind that helps to really dry things out. And that's what we've been seeing the last couple of days. So not as much wind for Tuesday and Wednesday, but the winds pick back up Thursday when we're back up in the mid-70s. Now, let's talk about our rain chances over the next 5 days, kind of incrementally going forward here from 3 to 5 and then to 7 day coming up. Our one best chance for rain is it's really not during the day Friday, it's Friday night. And so during the day, kind of that 50% chance for showers late. Friday night, a better chance for rain. Unfortunately, it doesn't look to be all that heavy. Looks to be mainly on the light side. We may squeeze out about 1/4 of an inch or a little bit more in some areas. Just doesn't look to be a lot of rain. We'll take what we can get, though. Any amount of rain helps. And then we're drying back out as we get into Saturday and cooler. So here's a look at potential rainfall over the next 5 days. To our north, that's where a decent soaking rain is. Now, I tell you what, our neighbors to the south need rain even more than we do. Matter of fact, parts of Georgia, the Carolinas, some of these areas, widespread drought continues even into Florida. And look at the prospects for rain in the southeast next 5 days. Matter of fact, in some cases, it may take until the first weekend of April until some parts of Georgia and the southeast see a decent chance for rain. That's what the longer range models are showing. So that's why we're keeping an eye on things. It may take a little while before we get that soaking rainfall event to move back in. It could be on into April. All right, so that's what we're seeing. Again, if you look at our legend right here, that's less than a ½ inch and basically about 1/4 of an inch or less depicted here. A little bit better chances up in Kentucky and Virginia, maybe 1/4 to 1/2 at the most. And that would be one day, Friday night. All right, so here's what we're seeing right now, and I do hope you're having a good start to your week. 52 degrees, it's comfortable, it's cooler, and we still have a breezy wind at the airport gusting at 26 miles per hour. Dew points in the lower 20s with humidity continuing to drop. So 40s on the plateau, lower 50s right now in the valley. Lows tonight, upper 30s to near 40 degrees. And here's your 12-hour forecast. Again, 39 in the morning, clouds early, 53 at noontime, and we're 64 once we get into our Tuesday afternoon. Again, clouds early, then we'll see some sunshine returning as we get later in the day tomorrow. So that's what we're looking at. Still the dry conditions, though, for the next 3 days. There's our one chance for rain Friday night. Next week, 60s to near...
Big Orange is headed to the Sweet 16, their 12th trip. They're still looking for that elusive Final Four appearance. It would be their first. The road doesn't get any easier. The Vols now face Iowa State. They're a physical team, and they also banged that 3. Tennessee fought through a tough one against Virginia. Vols head coach Rick Barnes says the 2 games they played in Philly have prepared them for what is next.
I'm really proud of these guys. You know, we started the season with a lot of young guys, a lot of new guys. I think 11 new people on our team, and that's kind of where it is today, I guess, in college basketball. But they've worked hard for us from the get-go. Nate, it's been hard because he's worked so hard to come down the stretch and have the injury, and he certainly had a hard time the other night. And then, but he moved better this morning. We saw that. And then I think he turned it twice. I know he first time he cut through the lane today. I saw it. He didn't do anything, but I just saw it on his face. And he's such a tough kid, and he fought through it today.
Coach, they're talking about star freshman Nate Ament. He's number 10, and says this run is about trusting the people you're surrounded with.
I mean, they just been super reliable down the stretch, especially. But, you know, these guys throughout this whole season have been, you know, super helpful to me, just trying to learn, you know, this system, learn college basketball, but also I can lean on them when I'm, you know, not, you know, playing my best, or, you know, I need a little extra help every day. But, you know, these guys have been tremendous, not only this tournament, but throughout the whole season.
All right. Iowa State is a tough one. They take on State at 10-10 Friday night, and the Cyclones have been rolling, knocking out Kentucky yesterday. They won that game by almost 20. Their defense is top 15 in the nation, and they are without their star forward. Right now, Vegas has the Vols a 4.5-point underdog to Iowa State. All right, let's move on to a quarterback you know well from Tennessee, Josh Dobbs. He's on the hunt for another pro team. The backup quarterback released from the New England Patriots. You see him here in a Minnesota uniform. Associated Press is reporting the latest change. Now, this is interesting. Dobbs, in 4 games for New England this year, the Patriots marked his 9th team, drafted in the 4th round in 2017 by the Steelers. He's also played for the Jaguars, the Browns, Lions, Titans, the Cardinals, the Vikings, the 49ers. He is what you call a journeyman in the NFL, and we love him dearly. After a short break, one last look at that forecast with Todd. That's a live look at the sun sphere in the center of your screen.
Balance.
Todd, we're waiting for rain, but it's not coming till the end of the week.
Yeah, and even then, it looks to be mainly light. That's Friday night, Friday evening, Friday night. The rest of the way, mainly dry. Seasonal temperatures, the 60s, some 70s in the week. A little bit of a cool down this week.
Appreciate you watching. Thanks for tuning in. We hope to see you right back here on Tuesday, and certainly we hope to see you down the trail.